So today we're going to talk about literal equations. Literal equations sometimes give some people some trouble because all of the letters are in the problem instead of more numbers. What you have to remember when you're solving literal equations is that you are going to rearrange the equation and all the letters are still going to be in the answer. They're not going to disappear. You also have to really understand the process of solving an equation to fully understand these. Literal equations are mostly used with area or volume formulas or in solving for y so that you can graph an equation. So if we look at number 1, we want to solve for p, which means I can't move this p. So I have to move everything else. So I'm going to start with asking myself, what's happening between the 1/2, the a, and the p? Well, there's no plus signs, there's no minus signs, they're just all side by side. So that means they're all being multiplied. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at that 1/2 and I need to undo this divided by 2. So I'm going to multiply this side by 2 so that those cancel, which means I also have to multiply this side by 2. So now I have 2 times capital A equals, I don't need to write that 1, lowercase a times lowercase p. So you have to pay attention to the way the letters are written and you can't change that. So now a and p are side by side, so they're being multiplied. So to undo multiplication, you're going to divide. So I need to divide both sides by lowercase a because my job was to solve for p. So I have p equals 2 times capital A divided by lowercase a. If you don't like the p being on the right side, you could also write that as p equals 2 times capital A over lowercase a. Those mean the same thing. So I still have the 2, I still have the capital A, I still have the p and the lowercase a in my answer. It's just rearranged. On the next example, we need to write in slope-intercept form. If you recall, or maybe you've never heard this, that means solve for y. So I'm going to write an equation up here. My equation is going to be negative 3x plus 4y equals 12. So I need to get the y by itself here, which means if this is my fence, I am going to have to undo the minus 3x, so I'm going to add 3x to both sides. In doing this, we have 4y equals, good habit. On the right side, the 12 and the 3x are not like terms because the 3 has an x and the 12 doesn't. You could write it 12 plus 3x, but I really need you to get in the habit of writing your x term first, and then since the 12 is positive, we're going to add that. So writing the x term first will help you when you go to graph the equation. So now you have to undo the 4 that's with the y, so we're going to divide everything by 4. And we have y equals 3x plus 12 over 4. You can separate that into 3x divided by 4 plus 12 divided by 4, which will then allow you to simplify a little bit more. So we have y equals 3x over 4 plus 3 as our final answer. That's slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form has the y isolated, the x term first, and then the coefficient, which does not have a variable, written last. On our last example, we're going to solve for b. So if I want to solve for b here, then that means I have to undo the minus 7x by adding 7x to both sides. L and x are not like terms, so we just leave this. I'm going to erase my line a little bit because I'm running out of space here. We're going to leave this L plus 7x equals 8b. Now I could have written that 7x plus L. So the order doesn't matter. When you're solving for y and putting something in slope-intercept form, like we did in number 2, I want the x term first. If you're not trying to put it in slope-intercept form and your other letters are L and B, it doesn't matter how you write it. So now we're going to divide both sides by 8. Now here's where you need to understand there's 2 ways to write the answer. You can leave it L plus 7x all over 8, or you can divide the L by 8 individually and the 7x by 8 individually. Both of these answers are right, and you need to be able to recognize them as being the same answer. Try the 6 literal equations that I gave you for homework or for your assignment today, and email me or ask for a quick Zoom call if you need more work with these or have more questions. Good job this week. Keep it up.